Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, potential watchers of any gender and other denominations. This is another scene in Project Central Oslo. Specifically, this scene is where Dr. Julian Kindborn, old-timey iterator, but has finally sent in still very interesting design for his supervisor, to his supervisor in the union after he's been given an assignment to work on a drone project, and he's been called to City Hall to talk to her about these developments. He's been seated in the waiting room out in the front for 5 minutes or so, when he will be eventually let into her office, and he can just describe if he has brought anything or how he's prepared for the occasion.
He's dressed formally, as you can see.
He's dressed formally. With the bird or without it?
The bird does not exist yet.
The bird does not exist yet. Okay, some hope at least. Well, Angelica's office is not, it's not as formal as one would expect. There's lots of books and mess around, and there's like machine parts laying on her desk and shit. And she's currently looking over the blueprints that you've sent in. And she looks at you with an unscrupulous expression, and is like, sit. I had just once again reviewed the design you sent me. Rolls up the blueprint and lays it down. And I have to say that I'm surprised. Overall, I'm positively surprised, even if the design you sent in wasn't exactly what we were looking for. It's still a promising step. To explain, the reason we what to people with our inspired or enlightened sensibilities seemed like a rather primitive design was that eventually we wanted to let this flow back into the masses after we had worked out some of the kinks in 6 years or so. This technology will take significantly longer time before it becomes viable on the timetable. But I feel, in accordance with the rest of the supervisors in town, that your design is promising enough that it's a worthwhile trade. Let's put it that way. So, what's the timeline, do you think? How much time do you think you will need to finish the design before we can get into testing?
I think I have a dice pool of about... I'm just doing mental math. In character, he's probably doing lots of planning, but I got a dice pool of 8.
Yeah.
It's a weekly roll, difficulty 8, even if I burn willpower each week. A month he could do it with it. Dude, he could do it in 1 week, technically.
Yeah, but we're trying to...
But odds are much closer to give it a month, I would say. Does that sound about like a fair bet? Or say about a month?
Yeah, about a month is very feasible.
4 to 5 weeks, something like that. That's probably a safe bet.
Yeah.
He's gonna he's gonna think for a moment. Probably about 5 weeks at the most. 4. Could get it done in 1 if I'm very lucky.
Mm-hmm. Well, that gives us at least a general timetable to work with. If you could manage to complete the design within... I will give you maximum 5 weeks. If you can complete the design in 5 weeks, you will get to continue on to testing this and building, the prototype. And we will ignore the less interesting aspect of the assignment, and this could single-handedly revive your rather stagnant career.
Thank you. By the way, what's her official title? Supervisor?
It's just supervisor for...
they never really get into like internal hierarchy, so it's just director if you get high enough.
Yeah, there's lots of like internal hierarchy in the different ones, but supervisors just go by supervisors to their...
That's fine. She's my boss. Leave it at that. But boss. She has a boss in the city.
Yeah. She's one of the she's one of the supervisors who's on the symposium, which is the ruling council of technocrats in the city.
The Illuminati.
Not the Illuminati, but it seems like that's just how they rule. So supervisors meet up and have really grand meetings and shit. But anyway.
Okay, so he's actually going to respond and say, well, in all honesty, if you would want it, if you would like, if this design bears fruit, I could still, perhaps as time permits, I could always build something more, further back on the timetable. Something that could be implemented within a couple years.
Wait, you could, but the thing is that I don't think you would have the time.
I could always put one of my assistants on it if any of them seem promising.
Let me ask you this. How do you feel about military developments?
Just looks for a moment. For which?
Ours.
The original? No. He's saying for the original design or for what he just came up with?
Different assignment in this one.
If you want something designed to kill, I can probably do that. The exact manner is going to be a bit, depends on the circumstances and what you're looking for. Assassination is very different from open warfare, and we don't do as much open warfare.
Not on this side of things, at any rate. Now, there's been, and I'm sure the grapevine has already spread this down the chain of command, but there's already been, but this has been an attack on one of the fronts here in the city by a rather dangerous reality deviant. And I wouldn't have considered you usually, but based on your performance with this design, I'm deciding to give you an opportunity to excel beyond that. There will be formed a task force, Amalgam specifically, to deal with this problem, where, of course, there are going to be people drafted in from other conventions met to do the actual fighting, but we will need someone to develop the appropriate countermeasures. And based on your work here, especially with this you
cut out there.
I say she said that you would be. Where was the last part I cut out on?
You got one word into that sentence and I didn't hear it.
Okay, she said, as you probably have already heard, there's been an attack on the.
No, that part you got. Sorry, that part we're good on.
Okay, based on your, I wouldn't have considered you for this assignment before I saw this design, but I think that your, let's call it, your drive has been reignited, and I believe in rewarding initiative when it's well used. And I will give you this opportunity to excel further by being drafted into this amalgam to deal with the reality. There will be an official briefing where you and other operatives and some new recruits will be drawn together for this purpose. It's strictly meant to be a temporary assignment, but a front has already been prepared for you to work from, and it should, if you succeed, it should be another well-placed step that could potentially lead you to a supervisor chair if you develop your understanding of enlightened science enough.
Oh, see, we ain't making no Enlightenment 2 supervisor.
Yeah. But you could start putting the political groundwork down for at some point in the future.
Yeah. So essentially, this amalgam would be designed to destroy whatever it is that caused the problem.
One part of the team will do the lab work and prepare the technology, prepare the equipment. The other one will be out there and execute the assignment.
Threat nullification. Just kidding. He doesn't say that. Like, yeah, would you like to see your supervisor lose her shit? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a valid phrase, but I get the feeling you don't say that phrase.
Yeah, but it's accurate. But yeah, consider your audience. Consider your audience.
Yes, exactly.
There is one other iterator who I'm in charge of who's going to be helping you with the development. And while you're on here, she presses a button on her desk for a second. Fine. Now I can talk a bit more freely for a few seconds, but this girl, Mina Watanabe, a new fresh iterator in the city, she has connections in extra or inter convention connections to the Void Engineers. She's being mentored by one of their old guards that's currently, at least officially, stationed in the city. And we don't want undue influence to come in there, or for her to potentially leak out any information that.
Oh, see, whose character is this?
Jason's character.
Okay.
The Asian girl.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
it's been a while since I was in game.
Yeah, it's fine to ask for a quick heads up because this is stuff you are in character supposed to remember, so that's fine. Anyway,
okay.
She's like, so while you're both working on this assignment, it would be preferable if you could keep an eye on her, make sure that she doesn't have any doubts about which convention she is a member of and which one she should be, which ideal she should be taking to. Let's put it that way.
I can put eyes on her if you want. I can also brush up on my PsyOps training.
Excellent. It's just a precaution. Just a precaution. And it's not a matter I could entrust to a member of the New World Order, considering it's a family matter, we can call it that. We wouldn't want too many cooks in the kitchen. She seems promising and a bit naive, so it's not that. But naive people can easily be lured astray. That's, after all, why we shepherd humanity. She looks at her watch for a second, and then she presses the button. And that was that for that topic, yes. So Mia Watanabe is going to be one of your colleagues on this mission. There will be others from the New World Order and from the Void Engineers, if I'm not mistaken. But I will. This will all be reviewed. This will be taken care of at the official hearing.
He nods.
As for you, I think you should. I will, if you succeed, I will recommend you for some educational programs you could use to improve your grasp of some of the inspired science fields, just so you're progressing a little more rapidly.
I'm trying to think, OC. So as far as you just mentioned, the only people they're gonna be in the Cabal are the other Iteration X member and a Void Engineer.
And a member of it's basically going to be Ben, you, and Jason, and Byron. Just
okay.
Based on
which one's Byron's character in character?
Void Engineer. You've met them before.
Yeah, I've met all three of them before. We did the Ghost mission together, I think.
The Ghost mission, and you met Jason's character when you recruited the new
Mark's character. Yes.
There you go.
Okay. Trying to think if he has anything he would want to ask his supervisor. Probably not.
By the way, you have a student.
OC, we're discussing Snively.
Yes.
Yeah, it's his chief priority, but yeah.
Yes. You can bring him along for the assignment too. I'm sure it will give him some more practical experience that he probably sorely needs.
Hopefully he won't muck anything up, but he's got some potential.
Yes. That's all well and good to hear. We wouldn't want anyone to muck it up when we're dealing with a cross convention task force.
For a second, I thought you said the crossed, and I was like, "Oh fuck you! No, I'm out." You remember the crossed? Yeah,
I remember the crossed.
It's like, nope, not dealing with that. Exit stage left.
But I will reiterate and say that I'm happy to see that you haven't lost all your drive. It's encouraging to see that we're potentially going to grow a bit faster here in this city, at least in terms of our talent pool. She goes on her computer for a second and types up a few things. Yes. After you've done with this and you have finished the design and gone into working on it, I might have some other projects for you. Presuming you don't get into a permanent amalgam at that point, before that point.
Me nods. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else you would say. I'm reaching. Sorry.
Technology is very efficient. So some meetings don't drag out that much. You don't necessarily have to.
I know. I'm just trying to think if there's anything he needs to ask a supervisor. I don't think there is. I mean, he's got permission to finish up this one project, and then he's free to work on anything that'll help the amalgam.
Yep.
I mean, in all honesty, if he's needed for that, he can work on whatever's needed. Otherwise, his time is pretty much his own.
Yeah, at present, that's a luxury he has been afforded. Yes.
Yay. Yeah. Anything else we gotta do?
No. I think this. I personally don't like beating around the bush. The meeting is pretty much clear at this point, so you can go. Do try to advance your studies while you have this free time.
He'll nod, and then he'll head out.
Yep.
Visions of SWAT bots running in his mind.
Yep. So that's that for this particular scene, and we will see you sometime soon, I expect, and then stop the broadcast.